happy Monday, Canterbury. It is the 11th of May. I hope you had a lovely Mother's Day and celebrate it and with sport, as you should. Well, Stewart Island, yes, they're hosting Prince Harry at the moment, and believe that he was in a quiz night last night in the pub. And the name of his team was the Ginger Ninjas. Don't you love it? Didn't win it, but he got runner-up. So very cool, excuse me, for him and the locals. Rightio. It is another week of giving, and we have the most fantastic item to give away. I wish I could enter it myself, thanks to Logitech. It is the UE Mega. And that's right, you can take it into the shower. Why not? It is very cool indeed. And next to it is some Hoyt's movie tickets. You know we give away these each week. And up to my right, Music Month. Love New Zealand Music Month. We've got a fantastic t-shirt. It's black on black, very cool indeed. You may have seen me wearing it on Friday. And up here, we've got a lovely bag, really good for swimming. All that and much more over my shoulder. Of course, a beautiful painting for Music Month from Ira Mitchell-Kirk. All this, just simply call us on 3777 033 or go to our Facebook page, leave your details, and one of these could be yours. Well, coming up on today's show, we meet the founder of Extend Life Natural Products, and we talk on focusing on the men, because the men should be looking after themselves. Isaac Asili joins me, he's a New Zealand musician. He's doing some amazing, amazing things, and we also watch his beautiful video Sorceress, which will be wonderful. But up first, here she is, Nicola Freya Nourish. Welcome, Nicola.
Thank you.
Now, did you have anything sweet to eat yesterday for Mother's Day?
Well, we all deserve a little treat every now and then, don't we? I had to have a little bit. Chocolate's my thing, so yes.
Oh, good on you. And sweet is what it's all about today, isn't it?
It is.
Sugar.
So sugar, yes, sugary drinks. It's amazing that the most popular item in New Zealand supermarkets is a 1.5 litre of Coke with 40 teaspoons of sugar in it. So just knowing that is
so this one bottle of Coke here.
Yes.
Is how many teaspoons?
So this one here is 600 mils, and that's got about 16 or 17 teaspoons of sugar in it.
Wow.
But the 1.5 litres that are very commonly purchased, because they, you know, the reasonable price compared to other drinks, unfortunately, 40 teaspoons of sugar. So it's staggering.
It's frightening.
Yeah, and of course, you know, high amounts of sugar linked to diseases, obesity, and the sugary drinks with the acid in them as well. Terrible for our teeth, especially our young people's teeth, when they sort of swishing these drinks around their mouths for long periods of time.
Okay, we'll get into obesity and definitely about the dental. We need to do some shock factor happening right now. And we shocked Gordon, it's on sound actually this morning. So let's start with, where do you want to start? The water or the Coke Zero?
So the Coke itself, that's the amount of sugar that's in there. So it's massive, and when I talk about this in schools and the young people see that amount of sugar, they really can't believe it. That's what they would be drinking.
It's frightening amount.
So the diet drinks don't have any sugar in them, but what I was saying before about the acid in them, it's still bad for your teeth. So a good option to have in small amounts if you're wanting a sugar-free drink with no sugar in it, but just be careful about keeping your teeth clean afterwards. Okay. So, and I've brought the milk drink and the juice along because they're different from these sorts of drinks that are just purely sugar, acid, a bit of colour and flavour. They do have nutrients in them, of course, vitamins and minerals and calcium, and especially in a milk drink. But they do still have quite a bit of sugar in there, about 5 teaspoons of sugar in both those. So obviously not in any way in comparison as this, no. But just worth thinking about. You know, if you're going to try and get the nutrients from a can of juice or a box of juice, you know, why not have a glass of water and have a banana or an apple or something like that?
Just to counteract it.
Yeah, and then, well, you're also getting all the fibre and that sort of thing from the fruit as well, whereas a juice has all those parts removed, and it's sort of more concentrated sugar with a juice, yeah.
Frightening.
And I've just brought this one along because these flavoured waters are quite popular now.
Quite trendy, aren't they?
They are, but they're sort of halfway between. And people often think they don't have any sugar in them, but they're actually, it has about 4 teaspoons of sugar in it. In that total bottle. So it's just, you know, if you're thinking you're grabbing something and it has no sugar in it, you're better off to have a bottle of water if you don't realise that you're actually drinking the sugar. Yeah.
And if you don't like the taste of just plain water, lemon juice or lime juice, go for natural rather.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, moving right along to teeth. Let's talk about the teeth though.
Yeah, well, it's quite staggering that in the last few years, about 5,000 young children have been anaesthetised to have teeth removed. And I think the number was 34,000 children had teeth, a general anaesthetic just to have teeth removed. And you know, it will be from a variety of reasons, but the huge factor here is sugary drinks. I think it's having a huge effect. And there's a well-known doctor, Dr. Rob Beaglehole in New Zealand, who's really pushing to try and get these drinks out of schools, out of hospitals, and showing young people that, you know, it's not the way to go. Yeah.
No, that's right. And obesity is the other one though, and it's just terrible. It's prolific.
Yes.
Now, if you just look around our children, how many of them are overweight?
Yes, and this is something that's quite easily changed in a way that there's other options. The Ministry of Health recommends obviously water and trim milk for young people, especially, you know, getting their calcium is really important. And you know, and we say to them it's really important to keep hydrated and have water. And schools are sort of adopting the practice now. A lot of children are allowed to bring their own water bottles to school and that sort of thing. And many schools are also realising the effects of these sugary drinks and banning them from their schools too. So that's a really good way to show the young people this is the way to do it. Yeah.
Now, the plan is by 2025 though is to?
Yeah, so there's a group of health professionals trying to get New Zealand sugar sweetened beverages free by 2025 along the lines of the smoke-free plan. And this doesn't mean taking people's choice off them and totally banning it, but trying to work with the public to try and realise why we need to decrease these and get them down to, I think it's a level of about 5% only drinking them by that time. So that would
wonderful goal.
That would be amazing if we could do that, because I think it would have some great health effects.
Huge effects. Yeah. Now, pretty heavy topic this morning, so let's make it a little bit lighter with a beautiful recipe this week.
Yes, so tomorrow we're cooking out at the winery again, which is a really lovely location, and we're matching
Crater Rim
Winery. Yes, we're matching one of their Sauv Blancs with a beautiful bruschetta with some avocado and salmon, capers on top, bit of aioli. Yeah, my mouth is...
Yeah, I know! It's that whole marriage of the beautiful Crater Rim Sauv I'm thinking of, and the beautiful salmon. Yeah. Lovely catching up with you, and thank you very much. I think very powerful actually visually seeing what the sugar's going into. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing that recipe tomorrow. Now stay with us. After the break, we meet a wonderful New Zealand musician, Isaac Asili.
You're something out of a dream, messing with my head.
And welcome back, and now I'm joined by Isaac Asili, who is a NZ muso. Do you like the terminology muso?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Welcome to, well, you're a Christchurch, or you were brought up here, weren't you?
Born and
but
raised.
living in Auckland.
Yes.
Is that a reality now, being a musician in New Zealand?
I think especially since the earthquakes, definitely, yeah. Auckland is the largest city by far, so there's much more opportunity up there.
Well, let's talk about it. We're in the midst of New Zealand Music Month. What is it like for you as a musician? Do you feel you're supported by NZ On Air and by the industry as an artist here?
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I've had certain things supported by NZ On Air and New Zealand Music Commission. It's difficult because music is in a funny period, especially being a recording artist. Investing into recordings and producing songs is expensive, as if it's not hard enough to just write them, but actually making them costs money. But music is virtually free because of the way that digital music has made it free with streaming and file sharing. So it's difficult to make any money back from the recording side of music. But that's actually my favorite part. I love to produce and I love to work in the studio. But the main thing is now you need to work as a performer. most of my music is actually embraced more overseas than it is in New Zealand, because I do a particular style of electronic and soul music. So I need to go overseas to perform to the people where my market is.
But Isaac, we've heard that for so many years though, haven't we, that I have to go overseas to be appreciated for my music. A lot of artists before you have done that as well.
It's kind of funny. It's almost this quirk that New Zealand has, in that I guess maybe we're following trends a lot, so we wait for the international community to first say that's good, and then here we're like comfortable saying, yeah, that's good, and it's ours, you know? But it would be cool if people were more open to embracing underground alternative music, because we have some amazing talent in New Zealand that I think is underappreciated here.
Well, that's it. A talent pool is so broad over different fields of music. Tell us about your style though.
I grew up listening to a lot of classical and jazz music thanks to my dad, and I think it was basically his vision for me that I would become a trumpet player. So my parents bought me a trumpet when I was about 10 years old, and I loved it. So I was passionate about it and liked taking lessons and learning, and ended up getting a music scholarship to St Andrews College here. But I grew up in Bishopdale, so I've got to represent that.
Hey, Stack's all good too.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
Sure, thank you, Stack. But yeah, I was really lucky in my path in music that I managed to learn some amazing things from some amazing people. And I went to university to study politics, did my master's degree in politics, and then I finished and like, there's no way I want to be a politician because it's a horrible job. So I decided to go back to music, and first joined a band called Solar, and we were really lucky to be able to collaborate with some people like Lady Six and Holly Smith in the really early days.
Wow.
Which kind of gave us a good start. But all the bands that I've been involved with revolve around jazz, funk, soul, a little bit of electronic music and hip hop.
Awesome.
Mostly.
Wow.
And I love R&B. That's actually my passion.
Yeah, and especially I think New Zealand really embrace R&B. It's that whole summertime. We just love it, the bit of grass through our feet. But we're now privileged now to see actually one of your videos. Tell us about this, what we're about to view.
This video is from my band called Sorceress, and we released the album last year called Dose, which had a single called Treat the Feel, and that's the music video you're about to watch.
Awesome. Thanks, Isaac. You make sure next time you're down in Canterbury you catch up with us again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All good.
Push and shove. You hold me down with tough love, and then I nearly give up to you. Then I regain all of my high senses. You got the secret weapon, baby. Gotta promise to fuck me up. I'm on to you. Standing up for me to go on. Gotta keep it real, gotta treat this feel with love. With love. You got the secret weapon, baby. Gotta promise to fuck me up. With love. Standing up for me to go on. Gotta keep it real, gotta treat this feel with love. With love. You got the secret weapon, baby. Gotta promise to fuck me up. With love.
was so beautifully shot. It was wonderful catching up with him. Well, after the break, we talk men's health with Warren Matthews.
Let me live that fantasy. Through falling leaves, I pick my way slowly. Talking aloud.
Great there, Mutton Birds with Nature. It's very apt we have that song with you. Warren Matthews, who is the founder of Extend Life Natural Products. Welcome to Canterbury Live to you, Warren.
Thank you, Andrea.
Now, we're very privileged because you only spend a third of your time here, don't you? Busy jet setting?
Around about that, because we only do about 3% of our business in New Zealand, and the rest of it's scattered all around the world. But the current focus is primarily in Asia, so I spend a lot of time over there.
Okay, so tell us about how you started in this, which now is just a mega industry, isn't it?
Yes, it is a mega industry. Why I got involved in it was around 16 years ago through making some bad business judgments. I ended up getting totally wiped out, and I was in Mexico at the time, and I remember sitting on the beach and thinking, well, if I have to start all over again, I'm going to have to live an extra 20 years. And that's what got me into this business, because it enables me to do my research and actually apply it to myself and achieve those objectives.
So what are the major health risks or illnesses that are affecting men today?
I think for men, there's probably two major ones. One is the risk of prostate cancer, and the other is, of course, cardiovascular, or dying for a heart attack.
Yeah, and of course there is the supplements that can assist with this as well. I guess that's where you come into play.
Oh, absolutely. And to give you an idea, that when I was 50, which was 18 years ago, like many men, I was having to get up and go to the bathroom a couple of times a night. And that was at the time which I started Extend Life. And with our first product, which we were using, after 2 years, that had gone. And now I no longer have to get up during the night, and haven't done so for probably 13 or 14 years. So it is, I was heading the way of a lot of other men of possibly heading towards possible prostate problems, and yes, it was able to be rectified.
Okay. In New Zealand, I think what that horrible thing is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why is it so important that we do take preventative?
Well, main reason being is, let's take in the case of both cardiovascular and prostate or any cancer problems, you don't know that you've got it until it's too late, because you can have cancer beginning in your body 20 years before it's actually diagnosed. And likewise with having cardiovascular problems, sometimes that can just creeps up. So you've got to act on it on the assumption that you're going to get it, and take preventative measures to ensure that you never do. I have no fear of getting cancer or having a heart attack. My blood pressure is 106/65, and I have regular checkups, and I know that biologically I'm around the age of somebody in their late 30s.
That's phenomenal. Well, let's talk about you for a moment, because our viewers were probably a little bit surprised. How old are you, Warren?
Now, I'm 68.
68 is phenomenal. And so what do you put that down to? Is it purely just the products though, or is it the lifestyle?
Oh, it's a combination of all factors. There's no one single thing which is, first of all, there's no magic bullets. No supplement on its own will prevent you from having problems. Neither will just diet, neither will in fact just exercise, but you've got to have all combinations. You've got to have, do adequate exercise, eat sensibly 90% of the time. You can have the 10% where it doesn't matter what you do. And also you should have a supplement regime, because you cannot get all the nutrients you need out of your diet, no matter how good your diet is.
So what's the things that people should avoid then?
Going to the chemist and getting a prescription drug. I think that I've seen so many cases where people have run into health problems because they don't look at dealing with the underlying cause, because they'll get a pill for something from the doctor, which all it does is to mask the symptoms or the underlying cause. So you can get something which will stop a pain, but unless you're actually addressing what was the cause of the pain in the first place, it's only just delaying the inevitable.
So you're saying we tend to, I don't know, heavily rely on our doctors, what they say?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, and it's not their fault either, because when somebody goes through medical school or the doctors, there's very little education on preventative. It's because the whole regime is based on primarily intervention, and a lot of the curriculum is influenced by pharmaceutical companies. So they have basically a book that if you've got this particular problem, you should have this particular drug. Now, it's starting to change, and a lot of doctors are now becoming more aware of the importance of prevention. So there's some good trends starting to happen, but by and large, it's popping a pill is not the answer, and often it, in fact, is the start of a slippery slope.
All right, okay. Before you go, can you give us, putting on the spot, some 3 tips for our men who may not want to receive some help or guidance of what we should be doing?
Well, I think probably that men, as with women, should take the attitude that as they get older, it's not the time to back off, it's the time to do more. In other words, if you don't use it, you do lose it, which means that you have to do more exercise as you get older, not less. And you have to also be aware that you need a bit of a top-up from your diet in terms of covering nutrients. Even just basic things like good fish oil, can help a lot. So it's not too difficult.
Good on you, Warren, and you're looking mighty fine. Good on you. I hope you have a great trip. Going heading to China, aren't you?
Oh, yes, on this Friday, yeah.
Safe travels to you. It was wonderful catching up with
Andrea.
you. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. On tomorrow's show, woohoo, Jane is here from Mainland Dating. Can't wait to see what she has to say. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Now